But leadership is not dominance and it's not force. It's actually becoming somebody worth following. Your dog isn't looking for perfection here. You can make mistakes. It's okay. But what they are looking for is a calm and confident partner who understands them and shows up consistently. And that's how you build trust and respect and an incredible bond. That is what we are talking about today. Plus, the number one thing that I need you to know, you, my friend and fellow dog lover, this is important. Make sure you write this down. Let's get into it. Ready to have a calm and peaceful life with your dog without the stress of those fear-based behaviors? Hi, I'm Tracy, and I've been there, overwhelmed by all the conflicting dog training advice and unsure of what to do next. But now I help dog lovers like you simplify your life with your dog by building confidence naturally, fostering trust, and addressing those fear-based challenges. So, if you're ready, stop chopping those chicken wieners and let's get to it. Well, hello, and welcome to Beyond Obedience. It's Tracy. You are here with me today. Thank you so much for being here and sharing this time with me. It really means the world to me. Can you believe it? It's like January, 6th or something already. How'd that happen? It's 2025. We're getting into it. I have to start off today by making an announcement and an explanation. So if you heard the previous podcast with Paisley and I, where we talked about doing the Calm Down Dog Boot Camp for 2025, January 13th and 14th, I don't know, math is hard. We didn't look at calendars. I don't know. Time flew by. All's the things. All I know is that I turned to Paisley and like today, or not today, but probably Saturday, I guess it was. And I was like, do you realize that this means we have to do the boot camp next week? And if I'm being honest, I'm just not feeling 100% yet. I'm having some health issues. I don't want to bore you with all the details, but I didn't get the answers I wanted to in December when I went to the doctor. He postponed some things. I now had to wait till January 20th to get back in to see him, blah, blah, blah. The bottom line is, I really want to show up for this because it was so much fun the first time. I want to make sure I'm, at my best for you. So I think it was best. Paisley and I both decided it's probably best if we postpone it. The other thing too, and I will say this, is Paisley's working on something very special for you. I haven't even seen it yet. She hasn't showed me all the details. I haven't seen it, but she's been working on it behind the scenes. I know she's pretty excited about it. I think it would be a stretch for her, and I don't want her to rush through to get it done for next week. I think that's almost an impossible goal. So between the two of us, we have decided that we are going to postpone it. So now our Calm Down Dog Boot Camp will be, dun, 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 dun. Oh, do I have a thing? No. Boo? No. Applause. Will be, no, we'll do it after. Hold on. Will be, wait. Children cheering. What is that? Okay. It will be February 10th and 11th. There it is. All right. That is when it's happening, February 10th and 11th. And if you know a little something about me, February 11th is a special day. I'm just going to put that out there. So it seems to make sense to have it on February 10th and 11th. So if you were like looking forward to it, we're still doing it. It's coming at you in February 10th and 11th. Gives Paisley and I a little bit more time to prep, to make sure that we have everything in place, because we really did enjoy the boot camp. So that's the first thing that I got to get that out of the way. My apologies to anybody that had already put it in your calendar. You're going to have to just bump it up a month, but we'll still do it. It's going to be amazing. All right. Enough about that. Let's talk about what I want to talk about today. Cause I was really thinking about, how I wanted to start this year off. Did you do the goal exercise? Did anybody do that? Put your hands up. Not that I can see it, but put your hands up in the air if you did the goal exercise. What's your word? What's your word? We should have that. Maybe we'll put that. Let's talk about that in the Living Beyond Obedience group. What's your word for 2025? What's the word? For me, as I mentioned before in the other podcast, it's simplify. I'm really trying to simplify things. I think before in the past, I was like trying to do all the things for everybody. I was trying to be everybody's, something for all the things. And what I've come to realize is there's certain things I'm really good at and certain things I'm not as good at. So we got to like focus in and simplify that. And I also wanted to make it really simple for you and I to like work together, to connect, like all of that stuff. So still working on that. It's a work in progress. And oh, I am excited about this. I'm going to tell you this on Thursday. It's coming on the Thursday episode with all the details, but there is something very, very exciting in the works coming to you so that you can, if you are like, I'd love to sit down and chat with Tracy, there's going to be an opportunity for you to do that, which is really exciting. So, but more about that on Thursday. But today I wanted to just do a quick episode talking about the number one thing that I think you need to know. So if you've been working on your goals and you've been doing like you've been doing your word of the year and really thinking about visualizing stuff, I want you to take that piece of paper that you wrote all that down on, and at the top of that, if you can find space at the top of that, I want you to put this phrase on the top of that page, because this is the number one thing that I need you, my friend. I need you to hear me when I say this. I want you to write these 3 words. I am enough. Write it at the top of your page. I am enough. Because when I was asked this question, this was asked to me, I was being interviewed many years ago, actually. And someone had asked that question to me. They said, what is the one thing that you would like every dog lover to know? And that was it for me. I just said, I just want people to understand and to really know deep in their heart of hearts that they are enough. You are enough for your dog. You, the beautiful soul listening to me right now, you are enough. I really do believe that we are inundated with so much messaging, so much marketing, so much sales around our pets. It's $1 billion industry, the pet industry. Billions of dollars are spent every single year. And that marketing is somehow meant to make you feel less than, right? You're not a good dog owner if your dog doesn't have the newest or greatest thing. You're not a good dog owner if you're using this tool instead of that tool. You're not a good dog owner if you're not feeding this exact thing. Like, so many messages coming flying at us, reminding us every single day that we are somehow not good enough for our dogs. But you know who you need to ask? Me. Ask me. I will tell you you're good enough. But also, you know who you need to ask? You need to ask your dog. You need to look at your dog, because your dog is telling you every day, you are enough, my friend. Now, some of you are going to fight me on this. You're going to be like, nope, I'm pretty sure I'm a Pez dispenser for my dog. Some of you are going to fight me on this. But I'm here to tell you that you actually are everything that your dog needs. You don't need anything more. There's so many examples of this, of dogs living their absolute best lives without all of the bells and whistles that you see going on. Now, some of you might fight me on this and say, but Tracy, I like buying all this stuff for my dog. If you like it, that's great. But I want you to stop and sort of do a heart check on whether or not you're doing it based on the pressure of society, of the marketing and all of that stuff, or if you're doing it because it is something that you truly enjoy and it is something that your dog truly enjoys or wants, right? I get a lot of pushback from this, especially around the concept of food and treats. And I wanted to maybe clarify some things for you right here, right now, today on that aspect, especially when it comes to treats. The funny thing for me is a lot of people that either resonate with my message or come and work with me either privately one-on-one or within the, the fearful dog community. Many of them will make the comment of, oh, I'm not using as much treats now. And that's a good thing. And I always find that comment funny because I'm like, did you feel like it was a bad thing? Right? And so many of you are feeling it. You're feeling it at a level where you're like, I don't know, there's just something about this. It doesn't feel like a great relationship when I'm just Pez dispensing out food to my dog. When every part of my relationship is transactional, it doesn't feel good to me. So I know that me saying this at some level is going to resonate a little bit with you because I felt the same way. Now, here's where I want to make the caveat. I am not opposed to treats. I know I've just discussed this before, but I'm going to say it again. I'm not opposed to treats. I really am not. I think treats are fantastic and you should use them, especially if you're teaching your dog something. If you're teaching them English as a second language, you bet your bottom dollar. I use treats with Nike, my Jack Russell Terrier, for recall. We have to now every once in a while give her a treat for coming back because she is like she's making a choice, right? When it comes down to it, she's making a choice. She's out in the environment doing the things that her little, like all of her genetics are telling her to do. She's digging in the ground, she's sniffing stuff, she's doing the things that innately she wants to do. And then you've got the human that's standing at the door going, come on in, let's go, we're going in now. And what does in mean? In means I don't get to keep sniffing and hunting and doing all the things. So they have to make a choice. Do I use food as a transactional thing in that moment? Yes. You call it what you want. It's a reward. Thank you for coming when you're called. It's a reward. It's something where I'm trying to be like, I know that I need you to suspend your innate drives and come back into this house where I'm going to ask you to just sit down and be bored for a little bit, right? So there's a payment for that. And I'm not opposed to that. I'm not saying don't use that. What I am saying, though, is that treats are great for training. They're not necessarily great for your relationship. You're not going to find respect at the bottom of a treat pouch, right? Ooh, that was good. Should put that on a treat pouch. You won't find respect at the bottom of this pouch. I'm going to start making merch and it's going to be, you won't find respect at the bottom of a treat pouch. But you're not. I mean, that's the end of the day. Respect isn't found at the bottom of your treat pouch. Respect is found and nurtured and created and cultivated by how we show up for our dogs. That's where you're going to find respect. So you want to make sure that you are showing up in a way that is respectful for the dog. I mean, one of my old taglines used to be somebody worth following. We want to wake up every single day and be the leaders that we need, that our dogs need us to be, by being somebody worth following. I quite often think about this whenever I talk about this concept of you are enough and your dog doesn't need a lot of stuff. I'm often reminded of the story of Levi and the very first time I met him, and he was coming just to be boarded at that point in time. But the amount of stuff that Levi came with was unbelievable. Like, just, all of the things, the calming cookies, and she used to make him toast with cheese whiz, and all of these things, like this box full of stuff. And when Levi came, he was extremely human fearful, didn't want anything to do with me whatsoever. And when I put him in the kennel, I've told this story 100 times, but when I put him in the kennel, we couldn't touch him. We had to get Rue to help us. She was our helper dog that helped, navigate Levi and herd him get him to the places we need him to be. We used her innate herding ability to help us with that. But the interesting thing is when he was staying with me, I did get a comment from the foster that was like, "You're not going to have him in the house with you," and I was like, "No, I'm not." And she was like, "Oh well, I think he should be in the house with you." And I'm like, "First of all, he doesn't want anything to do with me." Right? We created him a nice place in the kennel. But the funny thing is we dumped the box of all of his stuff, the stuff that was with him in the kennel. Every time I went to see him, he was in the corner away from all the stuff. He didn't want the stuff. The stuff wasn't calming or comforting. It didn't do anything for him. He didn't want any of the stuff. So eventually I took all the stuff away, and it was just Levi. But then we started doing the things that Levi wanted to do, right? He got to engage with other dogs. He got to play in the play yard. He got to explore and sniff and do all those things. And eventually I built trust with him. And it wasn't through food. It was not through food. This was a dog. This was a dog who obviously had been tricked by food because he had such a negative association with it, that if you held your hand out to him with anything in your hand, he would bolt. Like he was like once bitten, twice shy. Like I'm like, he must have been trapped with food or caught with food, because he did not trust a stretched out hand with a cookie in it. And so everything that I had to do with that dog was built around me just showing up. I couldn't rely on the crutch of food or treats to bribe my way into his life. And sort of learning from, that experience with him, and learning how to show up for him in a way where he, one, started to trust me, and two, then built a bond with me, was such an incredibly enlightening journey that I had with him. And there's been so many other examples of dogs that have sort of showed me the same thing. The dogs where, that humbled me in that way, where I realized all of the things that I have used in the past were actually crutches to my relationship. They weren't actually the core or the foundation of what it is to create an incredible connection and bond with the dog. And that's where I really started to hone in this idea that I'm enough. I can be enough. I have to adjust and learn based on the dog in front of me. How I show up for my dogs is different, right? And that is probably part of the skill that I've learned along my journey with working with dogs. Is how I show up for the Jack Russell is different than how I show up for the Australian Shepherds, than the Newfs, than the lab mixes, the pit mixes, like all of the dogs that I've had in my life. I've had to show up differently for them. I've had to take in all of the consideration of who they were, what are their needs. I put their needs above my needs, right? Quite often, we do things as people that we're doing it to make us feel better, but it's actually not for the dog, right? So this friendly reminder to you, my friend, is just to remind you that you are enough, right? You are enough for your dog. You don't have to have any sort of fancy gadgets or treats or tricks. You certainly can. This isn't a shaming thing if this is what you like to do. But everything that you need to create an amazing relationship with your dog is already within you. And it starts with learning and really leaning into connection, communication, and honestly showing up as a leader. And I've said this before, but I'll say it again, because if the dog training industry has, but leadership is not dominance and it's not force. It's actually becoming somebody worth following. Your dog isn't looking for perfection here. You can make mistakes. It's okay. But what they are looking for is a calm and confident partner who understands them and shows up consistently. And that's how you build trust and respect and an incredible bond. So if this resonates with you and you're okay, I'm in it. Like, let's do this. 2025 is my year to lean into leadership and connection with my dog. Then, hey, you're in the right place. Keep on keeping on with this podcast and following with me on my journey. Share with me your journey. This is going to be our year where we put it all together. Also, stay tuned on Thursday because I have that exciting announcement where we can work together one-on-one if that's something that you're interested in. I'm really excited about that. And if this resonated with you, maybe it will resonate with a friend. So please be sure to share this episode with other dog lovers like you. If you haven't already, give me a 5-star written review on Apple. Believe it or not, it is the way that you can help me. If nothing else, it's the one way that you can help this podcast flourish. We get on with our reviews and our ratings. So please take the time to do that if you haven't already done so. And as always, get out there today and be the person that your dog thinks you are, because your dog thinks that you're amazing. And so do I. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now. Oh, and one more thing. This podcast is meant for education and entertainment purposes only and is not meant to replace hands-on professional training. If you're really struggling with your dog, be sure to reach out to a professional in your area. All right, I think that's it. Bye for now.